Fire services will answer the call day or night. No matter what the hour, no matter what the level of urgency, this building will launch the trucks, equipment, and the brave men and women who will respond when called upon. And it's with that deep appreciation, glowing respect, and silent prayer that we today take a look and review this facility as it all begins. Almost 13,000 square foot building is part of the Stanley Green development located in lands that were originally part of CFB, Canadian Forces Base Toronto. The design of the station evokes a history of the site through the distinctive roof lines, which are intended to resemble an aircraft angle of takeoff, and the hose tower, which is expressed as a beacon watching over a surrounding community. When we stand on the Downsview lands, where so many of Canada's great aviation and military history take place, it is here that the soil grows bravery, and it is that we pass to a new generation of men and women, our modern firefighters, who will inherit this great responsibility, and with it, the burden of history, which I have no doubt they will carry with honor and dignity. Thank you very much. I'd like to now call on Mayor John Tory to share a few remarks.
Well, Councillor James and Chief Pegg and Roman Baber, MPP, first of all, thank you for your remarks, James, and I won't repeat them, although they bear repeating, because I think that I've chosen as mayor to go quite often, not to be ever a burden or an intrusion on the chief's work and the work of the brave men and women who serve us in the fire service, but I've gone to many fires, and I go to often express my concern and to take account of some of the difficulties that local residents are having in the wake of some of these fires, especially some of the ones we've seen in high-rise buildings. But I also want to watch the work that is being done by the fire service and by the men and women who make it up, so that I can learn about some of the requirements they have, some of the new requirements or newer requirements they have, for example, in high-rise firefighting and things like that. And I can only tell you that the words that James spoke about the excellence of our firefighters and of the people who are in the command of the firefighters in our city, our fire service, goes to a level that I think is unsurpassed in North America. And I want to acknowledge the presence of Frank Remignano here, who's the president of the Firefighters Association. I think consistent with the relationship that we've tried to adopt in this administration with all of the associations that represent people who work with us and the public servants who work with us, we've had a constructive relationship. We have issues to discuss and to sort out, but we sort them out, and we get the kind of excellence in service in return for that, which is something that I know the people of Toronto are most grateful for. And I think I would only say I'd say this about the police, I'd say this about the paramedics, and I'd say it about the firefighters. If you had the opportunity that I have, that Councillor Pasternak has, I'm sure that Roman has, to see the work that is being done, as I do from time to time, in person, and see exactly the competence, the bravery, the compassion that is exhibited by these men and women who serve us, I think you would be even more impressed than you probably already are at what they do for us day in and day out, whether it's in a pandemic time or otherwise. In that regard, I want to just say that in Chief Pegg's presence, something that I said on television this morning, and uncharacteristically, the interviewer on CP24 responded by saying that indeed Chief Pegg was a top-shelf guy, as he described him. I wasn't exactly sure what a top-shelf guy was, but it sounded good. But I just want you to know that beyond being an excellent fire chief, because I've had a chance to see him leading his men and women in many different ways and many different places at fire scenes and so on, but during this pandemic, he was called upon to perform a role that was extraordinarily important and was, I think, in large measure, a factor in our success at doing as well as any other place did, and in fact better than many places. You know, we can't claim that we weren't without our tragedies that happened during this pandemic in Toronto, and it's not over yet, but I can just tell you the steady, competent, dedicated leadership shown by Chief Pegg in taking over our emergency operations center during the most crucial period of the pandemic was instrumental to our success, and I just want to pay tribute to him when he's standing here today to say thank you for that. It's not over yet. He's still working with us on that, and of course he's carrying on with his other duties, both as the Chief of Fire and as the Head of Emergency Services for the city. But I want to say a word of thanks for a job extraordinarily well done, and we'll have better chance to do that as time goes on. Yes, indeed. May I also say, in the presence of Roman Baber, and it's the second day in a row that I've been with him. Yesterday, he and I joined the Premier in announcing a wonderful 320-bed long-term care facility to be built on the grounds of the Humber River hospital, and I thank the province again for that contribution to the well-being of our seniors in our city. But I want to also say thank you to him in respect of the restart and recovery funding that is going to be announced, I think in some detail, perhaps even as early as today. Because this money that was long sought after and the subject of very extensive negotiations between the province and the federal government, and I and other municipal leaders played some role in that, is going to be hugely helpful to us to take situations that arose that were no fault of our own, reduced transit ridership, reduced land transfer sales revenues, and make up for those so that we can continue to provide excellent services to the people of Toronto, whether it's fire services or a host of others. And Roman, I know you've been very supportive of that all the way through, and I thank you for that and extend my thanks through to the Premier as I did yesterday. This is a very important occasion. You know, and sometimes people say, well, why do you come out to celebrate these things? Well, one of the reasons that I come is that I want the taxpayers to see through the media and through us being able to recount these things in social media and so on, where their tax dollars are going. You know, they hear the numbers of our budgets, but, you know, $14 billion and billions of dollars on capital and hundreds of millions of dollars to support the fire service. And I think sometimes they sort of wonder, well, how does that all get invested? And I will just say that when we build a new fire station like this, which is going to be at the very top of its class in terms of its ability to provide that kind of service that's where needed and when needed. And we have to remember that fire is something that has to be local to people, because the fire service does have to get there as fast as anybody else. It's important that obviously the EMS get there quickly when somebody suffers a heart attack or a stroke or something, but it's equally important if a house is on fire or some other kind of explosion has taken place, that the fire service be able to get there quickly. And in a great big city like this, that means you have to have many fire stations, and they have to be sophisticated in terms of what they are. And I think it's the expectation that people have nowadays as well, that the buildings we build are going to be right at the top of the class when it comes to their environmental sustainability and their environmental sensitivity. And this building is going to do all of those things. It's going to be a fire station and much more. The fire investigation service, I think, will be located here, and that's hugely important nowadays, that we better and better and better understand in a complicated world why fires have taken place and why lives sometimes have been taken. And so this is a place that is going to provide that kind of excellence in service. And another thing that James touched on, which is that this is an area, as all areas of the city are, this is the fastest growing city in North America. And I'm proud of that, because it indicates people from around the world and around Canada and around North America want to come and live here, because they know this is a special place with a special way of life and special opportunity, hopefully, to be extended to everyone. And we have some work to do in that in terms of some of our anti-black racism efforts and so on, to make sure everybody shares in that opportunity. But the fact is, it is a place of opportunity, but when it grows, our infrastructure must grow with it. And there were times in the past when we didn't make the investment in new fire services, new transit, new affordable housing developments, and we're paying a price for that now. And we can't continue on that way. And so to me, it is a source of pride that I can stand here and say that we are investing in a facility like this, which is going to be at the top of its class, is going to allow us to continue to provide first-class firefighting and other services provided by the Toronto Fire Service, and investigate those things in a way, again, that is at the top of the class. And that same is true of the transit investment the province is helping with, and with other things. But the growth also carries with it a reality. Not just that we need a new fire hall because the old one might have been older, but because there are thousands of new people that are going to be living in this area. And I know some people in the area worry about that they worry as growth takes place that jeopardizes the stability of these neighborhoods. We're working hard to make sure that's not the case. But as tens of thousands of people come here every year, we have to have a place for them to live, we have to have transit to move them around, and we have to have proper firefighting facilities to make sure that they're kept safe. And so we will continue to make those investments. And in this case, we have something here that's going to be completed in 2021, and I'll look forward to coming back for all the same reasons, just to remind ourselves of the excellence of our fire service, to remind ourselves of where the tax dollars go in investments like this that are crucially important to the city, to remind ourselves, yes, of the fact that people have confidence in this city and it continues to grow. And yes, that we're building things that are environmentally sensitive, a green roof, a facility that's going to radiate heat effects, and solar panel installations and landscaping that are going to help this building to be friendly to the environment. And so I will just say again, thank you, Chief, for the work that you and Frank and all the men and women that you lead and represent do for us each and every day. Thank you all for being here today, and thanks to the people of the City of Toronto for putting forward the dollars that allow us to make these investments, which are meant to keep them safe and to keep them living in what I believe, in my heart. I've lived here my whole life. I'm the mayor, so I'm biased, but I try to be unbiased in saying that I believe this is the best place in the world in which people can live. And my job, and Councillor Pasternak's job, and he's a fighter for this area like nothing you've ever seen. My job, his job, the Chief's job, MPP Roman Baber's job is to keep this the best place in the world in which to live. And I think this represents a step forward in that regard. So thank you very much, and I will now call on Chief Pegg, the top shelf guy, our chief, to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Tory. It's the mayor and I joked this morning when the comment was made about top shelf. I think I decided that that's pretty much where the dust lives. So I'm not sure about that. But sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for your comments. And I want to take a second just to acknowledge that I was afforded over that segment of our COVID-19 journey. I was afforded a very unique opportunity, and that was the opportunity to really be the face and the voice representing an enormous team of professionals from Office of the Emergency Management and Toronto Fire and police and paramedics and literally every service division and agency across the city. And I had the privilege of being alongside the mayor and Dr. Davila on a daily basis, but I can tell you, and I can say with 100% certainty, the expertise and the passion and the commitment that has produced a result like we're enjoying today in our city is at their hands and not necessarily at mine. So Mr. Mayor, thank you. And to Councillor and MPP, thank you so much for being here. I'd also like to acknowledge Frank Ramaniano. Frank is the president of Local 3888, and Frank and I enjoy a good relationship, and that's integral to the delivery of these kind of services, and I'm honored that Frank's here. Also like to acknowledge Arnold Louis is here. Arnold's hanging at the back. Arnold has a long-standing member of Toronto Fire Services and works hand in glove with our corporate real estate and facilities management teams on producing facilities like this. So welcome to you both. I'm very excited to join you today on the site of our newest Toronto Fire Station here at Fire Station 144 at 2945 Keele Street. This will become the 84th permanently staffed fire station in Toronto. A fire station is more than just another building. Fire stations form part of the very fabric that makes up every single community in our city. The staff that will be assigned to work from this station will interact with, engage with, and ultimately serve the members of this community each and every day. Fire Station 144 will house emergency response crews 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This will enhance public safety not only here in Ward 6, but literally across the City of Toronto. The crews and trucks that respond from each of our fire stations are part of a citywide dynamic deployment model. Every truck and crew both benefits and supports our communities across the city. As the mayor made reference to, in addition to housing an emergency response crew, this fire station will also become the much-needed home of the Toronto Fire Services Fire Investigations Team. This fire station includes state-of-the-art, purpose-built facilities that will support the unique and challenging work of both our firefighters and our fire investigators. And that includes areas like decontamination facilities and secure fire investigation evidence lockup facilities. Since Council directed and approved the launch of the TFS Fire Investigations Team in 2017, they have been working in rather makeshift facilities located inside Fire Station 112 on Bathurst Street. These purpose-built facilities, contained in this new fire station, will enhance our ability to deliver services to our residents and to meet the needs of our staff. Toronto Fire Services continues to be hard at work on a number of leading-edge initiatives that are contained with what we refer to as the Toronto Fire Service Transformation Plan. While the COVID-19 pandemic has certainly caused us to slow down and even pause some of this work, we are still very much continuing to drive important enhancements to our service delivery model. We're in the process of completing the most comprehensive operational deployment review in Toronto Fire Service history, with the goal of ensuring that we're able to continue to meet the needs of our growing, evolving, and ever-changing city. The construction of this fire station is an important component of these plans. Toronto residents benefit from some of the highest levels of fire protection and emergency response in North America, and the construction of this fire station is evidence of this continuing commitment to public safety. On behalf of all of the women and men of Toronto Fire Services, thank you for joining us this morning as we celebrate this important fire station construction project. As the Mayor said, I too look forward to joining you, hopefully early in 2021, at the official grand opening of the station. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Pegg, Mayor Tory, Roman Baber. I now invite the party to come over here, and we'll unveil the plans for this facility.